Welcome gamers to White Sands. White Sands is a game that's just come out actually into early access. I think it's early access technically, although it does say 1.0. This is the launch version of it, but it's not ready for launch yet. It's still very, very much an early access game. So having said that, I will just sort of preface this and say the game has got a lot that needs to be done with it to sort of make it a bit more polished, or a lot more polished. It rates at the moment at 70% on Steam, which I think is a fair rating for where it currently is. I think it's got a hell of a lot of potential. This could be a really, really good game. But as I say, there's just issues at the moment with the user experience, user interface in particular. There's a lot of things that's not explained, where they need to really flesh out a lot of the screens. Even things like, for example, the sound that's on this particular screen before we get into the game does not conform to the actual things in the settings. Like I've got the settings down with my audio to most things turn down really, really low, but I've got to turn it down really, really low in my recording. Otherwise, it's so overpowering. And even if I mute all the sounds and apply it, it still won't actually work on this particular screen. It works in game, but not in the screen. So there's little things like that all the way through it. So it's an awful lot of work for them to do actually with the game. So I'll just sort of let you know, because I know some of you are happy to embrace early access and just sort of see where it ends up. It's a bit of a gamble, I guess, to sort of see where you end up with it. Other people really avoid early access, and I think this is one of these games where if you're at all wary of early access, I would hold on until you actually find out a bit more about it. But I like the premise of the game. I like the underlining mechanics of the game. It's just the way it's presented is the biggest issue for me. I'm going to start a new game and just go through and explain how things works. I'm pretty sure these are all AI generated, just the fact that there's no real actual text, but it looks great. The screens, this is one of the best renditions I think of using AI in a game that I've seen. It just works very, very well. Now it's not all the way through, it's just those cutscenes or those cut images. Now it starts off with an active pause, and which is fantastic. So this for me is a massive, massive thumbs up for this sort of game. It's a single player game where essentially what you're doing is you're controlling a region and you're trying to take over other regions of Colorado, essentially, is what we're looking at through here. And so there's 9 actual regions all up, but that you then have to sort of then try to you have to first of all sort of get control over this central region in through here, and then move off into the other regions and slowly sort of take these out. There's a lot of procedural generation in the game as well, which is fantastic. So there's a lot to like about where this game is currently, but there's, as I said before, there's a lot of stuff that's just not explained. And like for example, this circle here, this sort of rotating circle indicates that there's a drone there. You cannot save the game if you've got drones out and about. So, like if you're trying to do something with a drone, and and you're wondering why can't I quit without why can't I save? That's the reason why you cannot save while there's a drone. It doesn't say that anywhere, which is painful. To sort of realise that. The drones are really important, by the way. You've got 2 of them that you can sort of use to do different things. You don't have to manage the fights. You can just let the forces manage the fights themselves. I'm going to do that with the first fight. So we're just going to let that one actually happen. So I'm going to skip the tutorial. Because I didn't know about that drone thing, I was wondering, I'd play for an hour on the tutorial, and it was a good tutorial in essence, but still didn't explain enough as to what was going on. As I said, there's a lot of things that just are not great with the way it sort of does handle things. But anyway, with that, I was sort of wondering why I couldn't save where I was up to in the tutorial. It's because I had the drone out. So I'm going to send the drone back and just let the forces then manage it. And in the meantime, while we're doing that, we'll sort of go through, I guess, all the problems with the game, as well as like in terms of the basic user interface problems, and also the way it then sort of works with the there's also a lot to like about where it could go very, very easily. So I'll just go through the things that I've sort of noticed. Now I'm actually covering up a little area called missions, which just comes through the mission log. The mission log is also essentially this thing over through here, which just goes through the actual missions themselves. Now, the first mission is this little red symbol in through this other side. We have a force going in to take care of this mission. Let's have a bit of a look at this. Is actually the tutorial mission, so we're not going to be bothered doing that one. So if we just go back across, it just tells us about what it is. It's got a like a two banner or two medal difficulty, so it's just medium difficulty. So Command, if you see the screen, it means you've decided to skip the tutorial phase. Yeah, blah blah blah. Now this is so the basic mission is that we're just going in. It's a village that's under attack, and what's interesting through here, it's got about 500 population. The ethnic groups are white 60, black 30, Asian 10 in this instance. I'm not sure how that kicks into the game, to be honest, with the racial mix. The game is not made by Americans, so I don't think there's any real sensibility about racial stuff, like as far as the development is concerned. I gather, and I actually like that. Like it's one of those things. Up until just a few years ago, anything you got from sort of like anywhere in the main part of Europe, it was quite refreshing because they didn't adhere to, I guess, the modern sort of sensibilities, and so I don't think this game does either, to a degree. But I'm not sure what the mix is there with the ethnic groups. I've got no idea how that one sort of kicks into the actual game itself. Religion is creationism. Now there's a whole lot of different. It's a dystopian society. You've got cyborgs, you've got zombies, and you've got sort of like humans as well. And so you've got to try to win the hearts and minds of the humans in the settlements, and you do that by protecting them from the other outside threats. And so in this case, we're going in where we've got bandits, just human bandits, that we have to then wipe out from this particular region. So an agglomeration of several settlements, the local population settled on rocky terraces. Maybe I'll just go in and show you a little bit about what does happen through here. So that's the village itself. So this is just a sort of like, this is a village called Ant Hill, which is one of the 3 villages in our particular region. If we go to the drone, I can then sort of go in with the drone. Hang on, I'll just go and click on that one. And so this one here has got heaps of fuel. I can make it go to return back to the base, or I can go to the drone feed and basically look at it from the drone. So let's go and look at the way that you would normally sort of be playing part of the game. But I'm just going to let them do their own thing. I'm not going to get in the middle of it. They do a better job than me doing stuff, but I'll just go through the bits and pieces. So it loads it in. Now, as I say, it's an active pause, and you can change the speed. I can sort of zoom around. Now, back over through here, that there is the forces that are coming in from our side. And see how when I hover over it, it then goes through who's doing what inside this reticule. As the reticule moves up, I'll then get a different group sort of coming through as well. So these are all different groups that, like, for example, I've got a whole lot of liquidators. And is there anything else in that one? There should be some sort of this. See, this is what I mean about the user interface. It's just clumsy. It's a clumsy interface. And so in this case, we've got like another group down through there, which I think is the vehicle that they're in, sort of showing it. This is the tutorial on how to use different buildings, which is serviceable. It's not great the way it works. Also, even just with the I'll show you when these guys get into the fight a little bit. But they're going to be coming in now. This can be very difficult to see what's going on. Your best friend is to go through. This is normal view. You've got white hot, which then essentially sort of looks at like a heat map of what's going on. It's not really a heat map because you've got the iron bow, which in daylight. So this one just flares right out. So that's the heat map as such. So in night vision, that would be okay. This one during day vision, we then get to sort of see like individual little groups. If I can sort of zoom in and just show that one a little bit, it's very, very cumbersome. As I say, it's a really cumbersome look. If nothing shows up, it means that's a civilian, and you have to be protective of civilians. So as I sort of look around the different places and sort of see what we've got, I'll hover over this area through here to think, actually, our forces, yeah, see how we're seeing bandits in here somewhere. So we're somewhere in here, there's actually some bandits. Here's an armoured bandit truck right there. So we've got bandits actually on the truck itself. So in the back of the truck, there's a unit, sort of And if we just go back to the actual main view, the normal view, that's what it looks like. So I find it easier just to have it on white hot and just leave it on that one the whole time. So we're in a drone. It's basically just coming around. These guys will just do their own thing anyway, but we can override what they're doing. So I'm just going to let that actually happen. We'll just sort of watch what actually happens. There should be more bandits down this way. Yeah, there's more bandits down this other side as well. And our guys will just do their own thing, as I say. There's more bandits there as well. So in this tutorial mission, you essentially have to take over these buildings, and you can tell your forces what to do. So here they come now. So the different groups are now just going to be coming back in. We have access to a few other little things as well, by the way. So when we come back into it, we've got support. We've got different types of weaponry that we can bring in, but then there's a cooldown. And we don't need to do anything on this one here. Now we actually have combat. So combat has actually occurred, and we now got firing coming in from, that's bullets, for example, being fired at our forces. So our forces are now separating out, and they'll just still do their own thing. We don't have to get involved. I really quite like this hands-off approach. We can get involved if we wanted to, but we don't have to. If we just go back to combat, we can then sort of see what's actually happening through here. And I can tell my forces to retreat if I want them to. I can also open it up to see, okay, what are we up against? And this is again where it's like if I start to if I hover over here and scroll, it does scroll, but so does the zoom. So you've got to grab this and move it down. It's things like that. It's like the user interface is full of things like this where it just doesn't. It's just not polished. So they've got a lot of work to do on the user interface. They really should be. I think once they get to the game, and the game is basically playable now. If they could focus on just quality of life, user interface things, I think that the game will be much, much better received than what it is. It's, as I say, it's a very interesting premise the way it does work. And so, for example, also, like, what do you expect if I go and click on this particular unit? In fact, even if I hover over it, what do I expect to find? I expect to have information about what this thing actually is, as in what's its capabilities, what's its firepower, etc., etc. But you don't get any of that anywhere, including your own units. So, and if you click on it, you expect for the screen to zip around and highlight whichever one it might be. There's one there, I think. Yeah, the Armoured Bandit pickup truck. In fact, that's it there. This is this one through here, but it doesn't go there. And so the game is not just a little bit of this sort of stuff. It is full of things like this that just don't make a real lot of sense. So so that's actually what's happening in through there. So I'm going to be a bit sort of scathing about this because, again, I really like the actual concept of what the game is going to be. It's just nowhere near there yet. So that's what I mean about before. If you're at all scared or worried about early access, avoid the game for now, but just be aware this is a fairly interesting game the way it does work out. So this is just so that's the combat. Again, it's sort of one of these things where you can sort of see that they've got 1,300 units versus our 810 units in Team Bravo. And again, we can just open up our group and then sort of, again, we have to use this to scroll down. We're sort of using the scroll wheel. And then we have the different units in through here. Now, a lot of these are actually, again, on board different like different vehicles, but again, you hardly get any information as to what's actually going on, and it's very, very confusing to. Oh God, it is so awkward trying to get things to sort of kick in. So this one is full of liquidators, and the actual vehicle is a mule. Again, I can sort of scroll this side up and down a little bit now. So we have like the liquidators are troops again. There's no information when you hover over it. It really does need a lot of these things. I can also click on retreat from here and tell my forces to leave. But we actually are much, much stronger than bandits, so this is not a problem. Support-wise, I can use the drone to bring in special attacks if I wanted to. So I'll just do one of them so you can get a bit of an idea. Like we've got this armoured area, for example, down through here. I'll just see if it's moving. Yeah, it's moving up. See how it's moving through? It's going to take me 4 seconds to bring one of these Mercy missiles in. And what I'm just going to do is I'm going to go and click on one of them, queue it up. There's another problem. If I then just click it a second time, it's going to then launch it straight in here, and I don't want that near where that person is. So I'm just going to go and place it back over through here, where it should sort of get it as it comes through. So I've now got this one coming in at 4 seconds. I love that it's. I do love that it's active pause. So that's going to be happening in 4 seconds. And that should be enough. Oh, it didn't stop it. There's another one coming back over the other side. So we'll do another one as these sort of congregate and get past this civilian. Oh no, it did actually get it. We burnt it. So it got burnt. In that case, that's now gotten rid of. If we go back into the insurgents, we should now find that armoured one is now gone. Yep, so the armoured one is now gone. So that's sort of what actually happens here. It's pretty cool the way it does work. And as I say, our forces have now left the area. I'll show you. I'll go through as many of these little user interface issues as I can possibly find. Let's just go and leave that there for now. But we've actually now gotten rid of part of what they had. You can see there that they're winning slightly with what's going on. If I just leave these to their own devices, it's all going to be fine. So when I go and click on this, I can now give them direct orders. So I can go, for example, and say, hey guys, move into here, and I want you to take over this particular location. So this is actually going to go into a building. Now that should be, yeah, there's some bandits there going in. So they're actually outside. The bandits are actually outside here. God, it's so awkward. They really need to work on this a lot. I'm going to go and tell them to go to that building. So I'm just going to go and give them the order. And so they've now got the order to move into there. Now you're sort of thinking, okay, that's fine. Let's go and click on another unit and go and click on this unit here, for example, which it will do. But it's, if I forget to, like, I would be much happier with a right click rather than a left click, because you forget that you've got it turned on. So if I go back to that one again, which is actually still okay, but I would much prefer this to be a right click, not a left click, because as soon as you forget and then click something else, it's still selected. And so the only way you can deselect, believe it or not, is to double left click. So you're just using left click the whole time, which is very, very, not very good. So just double click there and it then sort of disabled them, basically, so we no longer have them. But it doesn't tell you, hey, you've got this one selected. So there's no way of saying, you know, what you're controlling. Again, it needs something to show who you're controlling and what you're doing. This is where the user interface is really poor at its current stage. Here we've got some units that are getting out off the vehicle. I love what it does, you know, in basic sort of sense. It just it's just not clean at the moment with what it actually does do. I'll just let them go through. They've got a bit of a firefight. These liquidators are now all coming back out again as well. I'm pretty sure they'll be liquidators. Yeah, they're liquidators back in through there. That might be a scout. No, that's liquidators as well. That's a scout team running forward through there. So for scouts. So we've got these different units. Again, you've got no idea what these things do, what their capabilities are at this point in time. Now we're hitting another vehicle, the other vehicle that was coming back up. And so our units are then going in. We haven't lost any of our Team Bravo yet. We're not doing too much damage. There's another vehicle there, which is now sort of just being attacked. So I don't have to tell the units what to do. I can just sort of let things just go their own way. But I can if I wanted to. Now it looks like we've have we lost one of these? No, that's still just going in. Yeah, they don't have control of that. We'll get into the building. That gives us a bit more control over what's going on. Anyway, what we can do is we can just leave look, like I'm just going to leave these guys to it. So I'm not going to worry about what they're doing. But that's just in a really, really brief overview as to how things are sort of then working. Now you can see there one of our liquidators has taken a lot of damage. So it does come up there actually, except if I then move out of here, even though I've got it currently selected. So I've got them selected. Oh God, it's sort of the user interface is a nightmare. I've got to say, it's actually not just, well, I guess it's poor. It's not really a nightmare. Anyway, I know I get a little bit overheated with these sorts of things when I see stuff that could be done a lot better. So anyway, I'm just going to go and tell my my drone to leave this area. So I'm just going to go and click on that one through there, and you can see through here now we've got a few other things actually happening underneath here. So we've got combat going on at the moment. I can then get a summary of what's going on. So my Team Bravo has taken no damage yet. It's in combat. The insurgents are sort of coming back in through here. They've taken a bit of damage. So it's saying now the forces are evenly matched. So we can get an overview. We don't have to look at things in detail to be able to see what's going on. The team itself, we can then sort of see what the team... Now we get to see who's involved and what they do and all that sort of stuff. But again, it doesn't quite go far enough to explain like who's on board. It needs to show who's actually part of these particular groups. So, for example, this Roach vehicle is essentially an armoured personnel carrier. So it says the MRAP Max Pro is the newest generation of MRAP with even better protection from mine-related threats. The armoured body is bolted together instead of welded for easier field repair. And so each of these, when we have a look at them, they've got their own speed rating, accuracy, armour, etc., etc. But it doesn't tell you, what it can carry or anything like this. So it doesn't doesn't really go far enough. And as we come back through the Landmaster, back through here as well, this is an MATV, is a second generation MRAP intended to replace the Humvee in Afghanistan, provides the same level of protection as MRAP Cougar 4x4. So there's all these different things, which is great information, but it needs to be accessible everywhere, and it needs to then sort of be talking about who they're carrying and what they're doing. There's an MRAP. This is the Mule is the MRAP Cougar 4.4 is the first generation. So I don't know why it's called the Mule, but then called the Cougar. So again, just little things like this sort of don't make a real lot of sense. So these are the 4 vehicles that these 4 groups have then brought in with them. So we have scouts, and through here they've got 2 light wounds. This is pretty cool the way this one does work as an overview, I've got to say. So I do like this, and you can sort of see there the damage that's actually come into the different units as they're sort of working their way through. So 2 light wounds, the liquidators in through here, 1 light wound, 2 heavy wounds. Liquidators in through here, I've got 1 heavy wound, and this one here has got 1 light wound. And so they'll just keep on sort of working their way through with that particular mission. As I say, they're often better to just do whatever you need to do. That's the team, that's the mission, we saw that one before. The village, we saw that one before, and then the drone. I'm going to go and tell it to return home because we don't really need it in the fight. Like the other guys will be able to then just do what they have to do. The drone can be helpful for bringing in like extra support. So that's one use of the drone. Now it's actually showing that it's already back home, but it's actually not. If I just go and pause, actually before I unpause it, let's go through the rest of the interface. So if we go to missions, we've then got, it says mission log, nothing at this stage. It does have the mission started show of force, which is the tutorial mission. Now the bases, if we just go back into each of these, this again, similar to the actual, I'll just zoom in because we don't really need to be looking at too much stuff in through there. Yeah, as I say, it's awkward trying to sort of control the drones, which is a shame because that's really the main part of the actual game itself. You've also then got like a standard color map, and then you've got sort of like that white map as well, like it's almost like the heat map style thing. To find out what's going on in another territory, we can just go and click on these areas, and we can then just go to discover sector and send one of the drones out. So new territory waits commanded, discover the sector so that we know what to expect there. So we can just go and tell it to go on discover. I do love the use of the, I'm pretty sure it's AI generated artwork. But this is for me is one of the best uses of it. Like it's just in these little cut scenes. So we get to do everything else we need to do, but they've just done a nice job. I'm sort of almost like you can't find any actual text, which is often a giveaway that it's actually AI generated. And sometimes there'll be just a little bit of awkwardness around the characters, like that leg doesn't look quite right. I think if an artist drew that, they wouldn't have done the leg that way. But anyway, let's just go and click on discover. And then what we'll find, actually, both drones are now going off. So the second drone is now moving off to there. So that will then go off into a discovery mode over this other side here, which I do want to sort of go through in this particular episode. So let's go through the other bits and pieces. Now, if we go and click on this area through here, this is, oh, hang on, that's the drone. I'll just let the drone move away. So it's now moving away. This one's moving back. So this is Cheyenne Mountain in through here. And so what this one has got, we've got a lot of different things that we can do from this particular screen, which is pretty cool. I don't know what that one shows. Yeah, that's just the information. So we have different supplies. You can see we've got water, food, health, and population, and sort of like we're getting a few stragglers coming in from the wilds, I guess. It's a dystopian society, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that before, where you've got cyborgs, zombies, bandits, villagers, all sorts of different things. And so your goal is to try to pull society back together and protect them from the outside threats, and you're trying to win the hearts and minds of the populations, and so you don't want to be killing populations. Like when you're actually doing anything, you've got to be very mindful of trying not to sort of kill any civilians when you're in there, otherwise they will then turn against you. The premise behind the game is really solid. It's really cool. Now we've got different things, for example, like units in the base. We've got 42. We can view them as well. And again, we do get to sort of see what they do when we hover over each of these. So we can sort of see what the different versions actually are through here, like the Black Dogs, the Mech Stormers, which looks really cool. You can see there the different speeds as well of the different vehicles. So be aware of that when you're sort of trying to come in and do something. You know, you do actually have those aspects as well. The roach. It's funny because even the aspect ratio there is different, which other than the actual thing that hovers over on the side there, it's actually it's all a little bit off, isn't it? It's just, as I said, the user interface is really not good at all in the game at the moment. Canaries and through here, medium APC, speed 20. So you've got these different things where you've got aspects which are sort of like, you know, with everything you actually have. Now that's all the units. They've put everything in together actually in here. Typically they spread them out. So if you were thinking, okay, look, let's just sort by name, you think, okay, I'll click on that. No. Damage type, no. Hit points, no. Endurance, no. No, none of those work. So there's no sorting at all in the actual game itself in any of the screens, which is just crazy. It's absolutely crazy in this sort of instance. So anyway, that's the actual units we have in the particular base. Now we also have patrolling and trade outposts. Let's just go and get some of those done. So if when I go to order, I've got like assigned units and then the statistics of what they're doing. So I'm going to go to a new patrol. I'm going to set up a couple of patrols. So let's just go with with just a couple of liquidator units, which are our basic infantry. So if we go and sort of grab a liquidator, and we then go down to vehicles. This time vehicles are there, but again we can't sort by anything. We have black dogs. Again, you don't, when you're on this screen, when you do need to know what they do, you don't get any information. Let's go and grab a canary. That's going to give them the ability to move, but it doesn't tell us that. Again, it doesn't sort of, like there should be what the speed of this particular group is. Like if I go and add another liquidator unit to this one, can it carry 2 liquidators? I've got no idea. I don't know. So I don't know what the overall speed is. The liquidator speed, even it doesn't tell me through here, is 4, whereas the canary I think is like 20 or something like that. So I want the canary to be carrying the liquidators around on their patrol. Now we're going to select a route. It's a very simple system, which is good. The system itself is good. It's just the user interface. So I've got 3 routes. Route 1 is this big long route down through here. Sorry, route 3. Route 1 is the route that goes up through the mountains down this way around the other villages, and route 2 is just a small route that then sort of goes up in around to the actual borders up the top there. So route 1 and route 3 and route 1 sort of do the job. So let's go and send this group out on route 3. So that's now done. Oh, hang on, I meant to do that one as continuous. So we're now going to assign that one. Bang, that one's now assigned. Let's go to another new patrol, grab another liquidator unit. So just go and grab a second one, and we'll go for the other canary. So I'll just go and grab the second canary, and this time we're going to go to route number 1. Route number 1, which does go through other different areas, and we're going to make that one continuous, and it's just going to go through. We can set the times when they go off and do different things, but this will be fine. So it's just when they're going to leave and then start to do their actual runs. So we'll assign that one as well. That's given me 2 patrol missions. So I don't need to do anything else. They'll just do that. And hopefully we'll get to sort of see what does actually happen with that one. So we'll just go that way. So they've now got 4 units on patrol. And now we've got 38 left in the base. The trade outpost, we're going to now send a... I don't know how many of these I've got. It's I'll just see how many of the actual traders I have. Again, it doesn't really give me information when I hover over, which is a pain in the bum. I've got 2 traders in here. So if I go to the traders, and then I need to go down to the vehicles and choose the trading post vehicle. Now I've only got one of the vehicles. So this is a big trading post vehicle. And so the village I'm going to send this one to, I've got 2 villages on the map at this stage. I'm going to go to Defect Town. Ant Hill is still under attack. So we're going to go to Defect Town. And we're going to make that continuous as well. So we're always going to have traders. That will then help to make them friendly. So we'll just go and assign those. And so that will do, because we don't actually have another trade post vehicle. Let's go and leave that one through there. So that's actually where we are with everything. We've got air support capacity. We've got vertical takeoff and landings. We've got medivacs. We've got all these different sorts of things where we can use aircraft for different stuff. There is a way... it's not really sort of going through things in through here. There is a way to actually, oh, there we go, upgrade the base buildings. I'll show you that as well. This is pretty cool, actually. Cheyenne Mountain sort of starts off fully sort of set up, so it's got everything. But as we go and get the other ones, so it's into different areas. We've got like defence, so we've got town watch, we've got fire stations, prisons. We've got all sorts of stuff actually in the actual base here. So our main base is fully decked out. But when we go to the other sectors, they won't be, and so we have to build up this as well. Again, this is pretty cool. We do actually have tooltips. Finally, something that's a bit of information. So we've got decontamination. We've got decontamination showers, decontamination pods, etc., etc. Again, the scrolls don't work on this one, so you've got to just scroll all the way down. But this is fully sort of decked out, so there's nothing much for us to do in this one through here, and then also just the comfort. So that's essentially what we end up with. Not that it tells you much about what it does do. So we don't get to see the overall results of that, but that's to upgrade them. So anyway, that's the actual base itself. So that's when you click on the actual base there. If we go back into manage bases, when we have multiple bases, we can then open the base panel from here as well. So again, doesn't really give us much information. We have the power, the happiness, the mine contamination back and through here as well. So essentially, I think that means decontamination, I think. But again, I'm not 100% sure. There's no tooltips in this area. Open the base panel, though, would actually open up that same one that we saw just there before. Then we actually have managed teams, where we've got like the actual teams themselves. Now, it's not showing any of the teams that are out and about, so I'm not sure what that one actually does. We've got recruitment, which again is pretty cool. If we have a bit of a look at this one, you can see that we need to actually get a whole lot of different ranks to be able to then go and get the different sorts of units. So we need to have the rank of controller to be able to then build a liquidator's heavy weapons group. So this is regular troops with rocket launchers. This one here, for example, is the backbone of the Union military forces. Why these tooltips with question marks aren't everywhere, I've got no idea. Again, this is the stuff I'm talking about. It really is so much that has to be done that seems fairly simple, just to really make it so that it's much easier to play. Like it's one of these things that they just really need to sort of just sit down and just go, okay, quality of life, what's the basic stuff we need to do to make it so that it's easier for people to understand what's going on, because it expects you to know exactly what each unit type is, what they do, what they're good at, and what they're not good at. So it does have, like when I hover over these things, it does show you over on this side, what they've got and what they do. Like this one's got a napalm flamethrower with incendiary grenades. This is a decontamination unit hazmats, for example. So specially trained experts in destruction of mutant hives. Their primary tools are napalm. So this is good against zombies. So it tells you here what it does do, but not when you need to set up an actual mission. Then you've got no idea what it does really. We've got farmers. We've got all sorts of different things we can then go and build in through this other side. Again, I'm not exactly sure where it goes. The game looks very, very good, but I think that all of these graphics that we're seeing through there are AI generated. I would assume just looking at them through there. Now we already have extra traders. When we come down to vehicles, what we do want to get is we've got water carriers. Where's the trade vehicles? There we go. Trade post vehicle in through here. This is going to cost me 8 people of the current survivors. I don't know what MOB stands for either. Not sure what that actually is. There's a support stuff as well, which we can't get just yet. But let's go and grab one of these. So we'll just go and select it. So it's going to cost me 8. You'll see that we'll then lose 8 from here when I buy it. So we get that one back in through there. That then allows me to then get at least another vehicle for the other village. So we'll just go back across. So I can keep on getting more. I can pick up what I actually need from all these different things. So we'll just go back out. Get rid of that one through there. That's the recruitment. Now the scientific advisors, I don't know what the start elections actually is. Complete all election events to start elections. No idea what that actually is. You've got virologists, botanists, and engineers. Yep, no idea. I mean, it looks pretty cool. So they invent, design, analyze, and build test machines, complex systems, etc., etc. So I'm assuming there must be sort of like more that we can then go and do ultimately, which is, as I say, pretty cool. I like, again, the mechanics of the game are really, really cool. Enemy leaders will find these out as we discover them. They will then start to flesh the things in through here as well. And we'll just get more and more information as things go. Now, again, I don't know if this is procedural or not. I think not. We'll see what actually happens with this. And so I'm just going to unpause the game again. I'll just go a little bit faster. So that's all okay. I'll just leave that one. Now, this will slowly sort of do what it's doing. Now, the other trait, I'm just going to let that one sort of develop. We can still sort of see what's going on. We have lost a little bit. They've now lost a little bit as well. So again, we can sort of have a bit of a look to see what's going on. This one does work with the scroll, but we don't get any other real information as to what's going on there. Let's just go and leave that one alone. So I'll just play on that one there, on this mode. So you can see there's like a little bar. It's a bit hard to sort of see it there. If I move it across, it's very unresponsive, this area of it. But that little bar there has to fill in before we can then find out what's going on. The other drone is now back, so we actually have the drone here, which we can then make sense of. So I can grab it, I just can't zoom in very easily. But it's a not look. This aspect of the game is actually fairly cool. It's I do like it. Mission success. So Cerberus mission type attack. We actually won that particular one. Now there, see how they're moving back. I'll just pause this again. So we've now got. We actually didn't have like all of our units did survive, even though we lost a little bit there. Just go into details. Yes, they're all there. The 3 liquidators, the surface scouts. Again, when I click on these, we're not getting any information. It's not telling me now who's injured and who needs support and stuff like that. It's just weird. It's sort of, it takes it to like 70% and then doesn't go any further. So you've got all these different things where it's got like this all looks really, really nice. It just doesn't give you enough information after the fact or during the fact. So I really hope that they do address this because, as I say, the game has got a lot of legs. There's another village there. What we'll do is we'll just go back into recruitment. We'll go and grab another group of traders. So I'm just going to go and grab those, and I'll also then grab another one of the trading post vehicles. So this is going to then chew up another 12 of the 29 that we have. So by then we've got 17 left. Okay, so that's we get extra of these over time because of the farming and stuff that we've actually got sort of going on. Let's just quit out of that one. And we can now go and set this one up. So if we go back into the base again and order the trade outpost, we're just going to go to trade outpost. We're going to then go and add in traders, and where's the other one? Trade post vehicle. Yep, there's one. So we've now got these sort of set up. We're going to go and set the village up at Ant Hill. And make that one continuous, and we'll assign that one. So they'll go off to that one. Oh, hang on, no targets for hearts and minds are currently available. Try again later. Okay, well, we'll have to do that one back over. If we just go back into here, this one's only just become available. There's a village of about 300 people. Grey Pines. Let's send a drone in to have a look at it. So we've still got one more drone. And if we just unpause, it's now straight there. Now have a quick look. It's a bit fast actually. I'm just going to go and just go back to there. Okay, so just go to the drone feed. Now if we have a look at the village, that should actually be fine. If you just go to the drone feed there, have a look at this particular village itself. Now we've got another mission. We've got to have show of force. Oh, sorry, we've already done that one. Yeah, that one's done. So this is it here. So we can, again, just have a bit of a look around. If I just go back to white hot, if I press F, I get the same thing. So these are all just, where I just find groups of people. If there's anything of it all dangerous, it will then show up. But in this case, there's nothing much there, so that's all good. So that village is fine. I don't know how many different maps there are in the game. Yeah, but if there's nothing coming up as being negative, so that's actually all good. Let's just go and leave that one. And we'll return the drone. So the drone will then just come back home. This one's still just going off. It's going to take forever to do that mission over through there. Now, what's going to happen is what we'll find is that, oh, hang on, one thing I didn't set up was the patrols. So we need to, actually, did we set the patrols up? I think we did, didn't we? Oh, that's the drone. Yeah, no, we've got the patrols. Actually, they'll head out fairly soon. Let's just speed this up a little bit. I think we have to get to 8 o'clock, and then they'll start to head off, and then we'll see more. These guys are now coming back home again along that road. And at 8 o'clock, we'll then sort of see the other people then leave the base, because that's when we told them that they could then go. So it's all in real time. We can go a lot faster, but I'll just let it I'll just let it sort of show itself off in all its glory. So we're only about maybe a quarter of the way through that one. There it goes. So this one's moving pretty fast. Again, I would love to know how fast it actually is going. Like this one, the Canary is supposed to travel at 20. So it is travelling at 20, but it doesn't show you that anywhere. And this is really important. When we have a look at this one, it's travelling, this is so much faster than what this one is. Look at the difference. Here comes the others. They're the traders. We've got two different trade groups there going off. Oh, hang on, that one's now split off. There's the two lots there. This is the other group of canaries. And that one is also the other group as well. So we had two groups there. Now if we have a look at managed teams, we're now going to see we've got Bravo, Foxtrot, Echo, Delta and Charlie with their different missions that they're then going off to do. And nice and fast now with the actual with the movement here for the patrols. The big lumbering these guys in through here with their post vehicles they travel at 15 actually. They're travelling a lot slower than that. That will then travel up into the hills, in through here, and make its way across. And now we're just waiting for random things to happen. So procedurally, it will then find events for us, and then there'll be sort of then we'll have to go and do different missions. So that one's now made itself back at home again. And if there was any injured units, they'll now be starting to be healed up in the base. This works very well. This is fine. It's just those little things. It's just the little stuff that it just doesn't quite do it. So these are slowly making their way down to the different locations to set up their trade areas. Here they come. They've come outside our territory, which was we lost sight of them. Here comes the other trade vehicle. Now we do actually have the traders are now setting up in through this other side. Only 200 people here. And the two different patrol vehicles are now coming back their own way. Okay, here we go. So now we've just done the Zone 6, which is this one over through here. So that one's now finally done what it did. So Zone 6 occupies the southeastern part of the territory. Old maps show there are a number of large bunkers located within its borders that could be used for Union activities. Reports suggest that there is some type of cyborg activity within the zone. Okay, I don't think this is random then, because I did play with this before. So deploy wildfire units to collect human specimens for viral research. A minimum of 1 unit of wildfire mobile labs APC required. So we would need to go in. This is sort of like the next thing we'd need to go and do in that one through there. And so we now actually here we've got these are the same as what they were there when I played before. So I don't know how much procedural generation there actually is. I know that some of the missions are procedurally generated, but I don't know if the main story stuff. It looks like it's not procedurally generated, I would guess. And these, if we go and click on them, we do get some information. We don't know much about these just yet, but to be honest, you can almost something commander of a little known group of cyborgs that survivors call something or others. They are well armed, and yeah, so you can still make it out, even though it's supposed to be obscure. And so this is like the name is called Iron Grip. This one's alive. So we then have to go after these enemies. This one through here is a different one as well. So this is another sort of cyborg that has been created and is now sort of roaming in these other territories. And so as we get rid of these small groups, we then end up getting bigger and bigger bosses that we then need to keep on fighting until we finally have the final boss fight in through there. I'm guessing that's how that would then work. Which, again, really, really cool. Again, very, very good use of I'm assuming it's AI that has done the illustrations, but this does look good, you know, with what they've actually been able to do with it. So if it's actual artists, I apologise profusely for denigrating your fine work, but it just looks like AI to me. So this one's coming back home again. That will then be both. Now at this stage, let's just go and press up through here. We can't save the game. This is actually where you're going to sort of struggle a little bit with it. So if we just go back out, I've got to wait for that to come back home. It's now back home again. Now I can save the game. So I can now save it there, I think. So we'll just call this one DAS01 or something. Again, WASD is still kicking in underneath there, which it shouldn't. That should override anything on the other screen. Save that game. So that's now saved. This is my first save that I've ever done in the game, because you've always got drones out. You can't do anything. I don't know why. Why can't you save when there's a drone out and about? You can do it with everything else except for drones. It just doesn't make sense. It's stuff like that that they really have to fix. Let's just get back into it. I'll just wait until we get one other mission, and then we'll sort of see what happens. These different troops. Now this is the other patrol going off this other way. Eventually we'll find something. The patrols will come across something in through here. I won't bother. Now we've got capture station. This is a hard one, and that's a base, which is Zone 4 station base not controlled. So this is something we'd have to then go and do, which would be a hard one for us. I won't show that one, I don't think. I'll let you guys, if you're going to get the game, you can then sort of do it. So we've got the event started in through here as well. This is deploy wildfire units to collect human specimens for viral research. Minimum 1 unit of wildfire mobile lab APC required. Yeah, I don't know. I think I just want to show a little bit more of the game. I mean, you know, you can see that there's a lot to like about the game, and a lot to not like about the game as well, to be honest. Am I too fussy, expecting more polish with these sort of games? And it is early access, but you can see what you sort of mean. Like it's one of these scary early accesses where you sort of don't know if it's going to if it's going to do what you need it to do. And they go off the map here a little bit, and then they come back on again. So we lose sight of them for a little while. Here it comes. All right, I'm just going to speed her up until we get another mission. These traders are still trying to get their way across. Oh, here we go. We've got an event that happened in here with our group. So it's now paused, and we have mission started. A horde attack has now come in. So this is where we would have to. I'm going to go and play this one really slow. I'm just going to pause it again. So we've got the. Again, there should be a way to turn off the sound on this screen. It just plays over and over and over. Now that's the actual mission. The combat, we have Team Echo and Team Charlie are both in combat. Now these are essentially, we're up against, the enemy has got 7,200 of them. Both Echo and Charlie, one of them is the traders and one of them is the other group as well, the patrol group. So they're not really going to be in a position to take this one on. I'm going to have a look at it to start with. So we've got the actual teams themselves. So this is the Canary with the Liquidators. They're not going to be able to hold up against a big horde of zombies like this. So this is sort of like a massive zombie horde. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to close that one down. And I'm going to send a drone in. So I'm just going to tell them a drone to dispatch, and then we'll evaluate. So let's just send that one in. So the drone is, I've just got it on really, really slow at this stage. And in the meantime, yeah, no, the contact hasn't really been made yet. And so I'll just try to sort of explain what's going to go on here. Right, so the drone is now there. Let's just pause it, go back in. And now we can sort of, actually the drone is there now. So we can now go in and actually look at the drone feed. And let's have a look at a zombie attack and see what actually does go on. And so this is, I can just pause. I'll just keep it on active pause. And again, I can just right click to have a bit of a look around. Just try to find, it doesn't, it sort of needs like an overmap of where things actually are, like what's going on, but it doesn't do it. You've really got to search for everything. I'm just going to go back to the white hot one because it does show you stuff that's actually happening there. Now that's the trade post vehicles back over that other side. So is this one coming in? God, where the hell is it? Where would it be? This is like this is where it just gets a bit like, so we're in the actual mountains this time. Now we've got traders up that way. Yeah, it's all my trade post vehicles. What's up the top there? No idea. Oh, hang on, that's ours there. Well, it looks. Yeah, this is the liquidators with, and these are all the zombies. So these are zombies, I think. Yeah, zombie walkers. Now they're coming in little bit by little bit, and so we've got these guys are now trying to shoot. I think we better get them back on board. Yeah, right click doesn't work, does it? Right click moves the mouse. Yeah, no, we can't tell them to do it. I'm just going to tell them to retreat, because if these zombie hordes, this is all the zombie hordes in through here, they're all going to go crazy. Like, we are shooting some of them, so there's been a bit of the firefight happening already. So this is the Canary along with the liquidator units that are actually back out through this other side. So I'm just going to go to combat. I'm going to tell team. This is team. God, again, what's this group? Team what? It just needs work. It just needs work. So Team Charlie is the liquidators. So they're going to be. I'm going to tell them to retreat. Retreat team. Yep. So retreat team message Charlie. Yeah. So that's again. That's not quite done just yet. I'll just watch them get out of there. Come on, guys, get on board. They're retreating. Still firing. Come on, get on board. Get out of there. Yeah, still other shots going in. So we've got an ambush sort of like out in the middle of nowhere. There's traders up there. That's possibly our other team, which is a fair way off. I might have to get them to retreat as well. I don't want to be losing, these canaries. Come on, guys, get on board. Yeah, there's a zombie there now. Get on board and get out of there. Okay, I'm going to have to go in and use support. So let's use a missile to start to blow some of these things apart now that we're back on board. So the Mercy missile, our vehicle will be taking a bit of damage. So we've got a few of them in through this other side, with a lot of them now running back up. So if we just go back into a Mercy missile, and I'm just going to blast it in around here somewhere. That should then blast them away from the actual vehicle. Okay, that's blown. See how it blew them away? So the vehicle is probably taking some damage there, but it's not going to be terrible, I don't think. Yeah, we're still Team Echo is actually still okay. Actually, no, Team. That should be getting out of there. I think we've got to retreat this other group as well. Like, they're a long way away, doing what they're doing, but let's retreat them as well. Yes. So we'll get both of those to retreat. Come on, get out of there, get out of there. Uh-oh, it's it's now burning. We were too close. I think I blew them up. I think I blew my own forces up. Okay, survivors killed by our actions. There we go. That's no good. But it's pretty cool, isn't it? Like, in that sort of sense. So that was not good. So we actually, so even though I blew the zombies off them, it's a massive fail from our perspective. So friendly, we killed in action 2. 16 of the zombies were killed, but there was heaps and heaps of them. So detail, that was what we actually were dealing with. We did kill a few of them. So there's crawlers, there's butchers, there's runners, walkers. That's pretty cool, I've got to say. And then the details back over through here as well. The canary and the liquidators were killed in action from from friendly fire. This is where I probably possibly would then say save scum, and now that I do actually have a legitimate save, I'll then make use of that one through there. Anyway, look, I've gone for nearly an hour now, sort of showing off the game, but lot to like, a lot to not like as well. So I'm going to be looking at this game with a lot of interest to see what actually does happen here, because it does look very, very interesting. Let's just go back out, and we'll just go back across, and we just tell the drone here. So this is now the village is now under attack. So we then need to sort of assign other missions to then help them with this one. This is the trading post. They're under a lot of attack in through here, taking a lot of damage. What have they got? 1 heavy wounds. And then this one here has got 1 critical wound for the actual traders themselves. So we're probably going to lose them as well, I would guess. I'm just going to tell the drone to move back home again. Oh, hang on, that's the same drone. There's just different stuff and through here. Is this the village? Not sure where they would be coming up from. I think it would be in through here somewhere. Again, it's so hard to gauge what's going on. Anyway, I'll just get out of there, and I'll tell the drone to go home. Return, and so I'm just going to let them sort of dissolve away. But it's as I say, there's a lot to like about the game, and but there's just these quality of life things that just need to be fixed up. But it is cool. It's a very, very cool game. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Hope that's been helpful. Hope it sort of gives you a bit of a feel as to whether you want to be playing the game or not. As I say, there's a lot to like, and I think I've covered nearly everything. Very interesting game, though. Anyway, I'll catch you next time. Please like and subscribe if you like this sort of content. And I really look forward to playing this one again in maybe a couple of months, and just to see if these things have actually been addressed and fixed up. As I said before, I think I said it, the developers seem to be very, very, very hands-on with wanting to sort of get things as smooth as possible. So I do have high hopes, but I do understand people who don't like early access games would be a little bit wary of it. I'm a bit surprised it's called version 1.0. I thought it would be a 0 point something or other, like a 0.1 if it's early access. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.